Have you ever seen that movie, They Live? Well, the movie's kind of corny in a way, but it just gives you the idea that, there are those things amongst us. Jesus said they're here. It also says in the Old Testament, be careful how you entertain a stranger. You may be entertaining an angel unaware. Okay, so this is nothing new. I'm not talking about reptilians. I'm just saying there's other things here with us.
Taking an idea I got from a Stephen King book, I'm going to cover this town with a dome!
It's been done!
Really? Did you know about this?
Mm-hmm.
Coming this June, last summer's #1 show returns Under the Dome.
This was no pleasure palace. Rather, it was the first great dome built purely to make a point.
These gateways are portals. And these portals are what get you in and out of Earth's atmosphere. You don't just get into an airplane and fly from the Earth to the moon or from Mars to Earth. There is a covering over Earth, around Earth. It's a shield. In the Bible codes, it's called a partition. I don't know what science calls it. I don't know. I don't know what they call it. But there's portal ways. Think of them as long hallways up into the sky. And that's, when you access a portal, is how you can get access into Earth. Through the partition, the covering around Earth, and you get access into Earth. You have to get into one of these portal ways, one of these hallways. And these hallways are called gates. They're called gateways. And there are angels who guard over them. They're called watchmen. They're called gatekeepers. That's where that term watchman initially came from, because it was part of an angelic order in our angelic rank. They would watch over the gates, the access points to Earth. And so typically wherever these gates are, there's 6 around the world, but there are others that can be opened temporarily and shut. And so this is what Lucifer is trying to force with CERN, with the Large Hadron Collider. He's trying to force open portals, temporary portals, so that beings from other parts of our aerospace and space can get access into Earth.
This is another part of CERN. You can see that's wiring, but it doesn't. It almost looks like a plant, doesn't it? But it really looks like the sun. And if you look in the center, you see the eye. So that would be the black sun. The black sun is Saturn, the dark star. Okay, you see all the nice little cubes on the inside. So let's go back into religion here. Let's take a little peek, because they always mimic this thing. This is what's very confusing. Why are there so many religious artifacts to take on after parts of this machine?
CERN in Switzerland has existed once before. That's not some new technological feat that they masterfully put together in the last days. CERN has been around for thousands of years, maybe not in the exact same machine, but ones just like it have existed before. They had a Large Hadron Collider type thing in Nibiru, and they were pulling in all these different beings from other universes into ours, and they got trapped here. You know, once the rebellion started and Lucifer unleashed all these creatures on the world, on the heavenly planets, like he's going to do here on Earth, he's going to do the same thing. He's bringing in all these creatures through CERN. He's stocking them up and hiding them in various places, and then he's going to unleash them on the world all at one time. That's what he does. And so a lot of them were trapped here, and they war against Lucifer and Lilith's children as well. And there's always fighting going on in space. Different factions, different groups. I'm just trying to describe why and where they all come from, how they even exist. And so, you know, so you can get a basic picture of what's going on around us, you know.
This is a Mayan. I'm not sure if it's a calendar or what it is, but it has some strikingly close resemblances to a couple other things that I think is going to tie all of this Saturn time stuff together. So let's just take a look at it real quick. You can see in the center it has a face, then it has an X. Actually, it could be a 6 point because it's got 3 on either side, but we'll just go with the X, which we know represents Saturn. And then it's got rings. It's got multiple rings going out. Okay, so we'll start with that. Now, if we look here, you can see I have it numbered. This disc has 8 points. Starting at the top, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it has 8 points listed in yellow. This is a picture of the inside of CERN. If you notice, it has 8 points. I have them listed in red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here we have a similarity between the Mayan and CERN. 8 points and 8 points. Here we see when we connect the 8 points on the Mayan picture, calendar, whatever, it creates a octagon. Now this is where it starts to get weird. This is the inside of I believe it's the Vatican. I could be wrong, but whatever the case, immediately we can see that there's a correlation between CERN, the Mayan, and this Catholic Church. So let's take a look. Now watch as I do the overlay with the original X from the inside of them as from the Mayan and CERN. Let's see how it looks. Okay, now let's look as we overlay CERN on top of that inside the church, and let's see what we get. Okay, so here we look, just like CERN and just like the Mayan, this has 9 levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 being in the center. Okay, so you can see that clearly.
So what's going on is sin is creating these dimensions. Now, in addition to that, okay, what else is creating these dimensions, okay, is the process of traveling through time itself. Okay? God didn't make people so that they travel through time and people. That's not why he created stuff. So the very act of traveling through time creates a fracture in the timeline and creates another alternate dimension. So every time somebody travels in time is equal to traveling to an alternate reality, an alternate universe. It's the same thing. Why? Because the very act of traveling through time is sinful. It creates a rip and a hole and a tear in the reality. And then as a person travels through that rip, tear, or hole, a copy dimension is created. Okay, now, the copy dimension should be a perfect, exact replica. However, because of the sin, things happen that God does not will to happen. Okay? So, because of the evils, the copy dimensions that are created by the act of time traveling do not match up the original timeline. And so every time that someone time travels, they're dimension hopping to an alternate reality that has differences because of the sin. The sin is introducing all of these differences between the dimensions. Okay? And then once it's once time travel has happened often enough and enough of these dimensions are created, hence the Mandela effect. Okay, the logical conclusion is things like this will happen and they're going to keep on happening. Now, okay, what's going on now is we are literally in the last days, we are literally in the end times, as has been prophesied by the prophets and Jesus himself and God himself and the Father and everybody has prophesied. The last days, the end of days, the end of the world, the final age. That's it, the wrap up. Okay, so what does the Bible say? And he will seek to change times and laws. Okay, times and laws. So it's the timeline, and laws is the laws of reality. Okay, he will seek to change times and laws, the timeline and the laws of reality. Okay, so God is mushing the timelines, combining the timelines together into one true timeline. Now, in the process, okay, as part of the process, the devils are still trying to fight God about this. It's not like the devils are just letting God do it. God is doing it regardless of what the devils do. But the devils are trying to respond. Okay, the devils are trying to respond. Okay? And the devils are trying to frantically respond. Okay, so basically, what's going on now is the time travel is not working. The time travel technology that the devil gave to the 13 satanic Luciferian bloodline families, okay, he gave the time travel technology to them. Now, the time travel technology is not working properly, okay? So this is, nobody is going to tell that, like, no one is going to talk about this shit on YouTube. So basically what's happening is, like, you know, no one is going to tell you that the time travel technology isn't working the way it used to work. The time travel technology used to work very well, and it used to work very accurately, and it used to work in a way that was more solid. It used to work, but now it's like glitches or bugs or whatever have been introduced into the time travel technology, where now the time travel is still going on, so the sin is still going on because it's a sin to time travel. Time travel is going on, but it's not working right. Okay, and so now introduce a Mandela effect. And because it is, because it is now, okay, things is changing because of that. So that exactly is the reason behind the logo changes. You know, the Bible, the same thing with the Bible changes. All the Mandela effect is literally part of the end times of God combining all the timelines together and the devils trying to fight against God to go against that. Okay? The devil's ultimate end goal is to destroy all of mankind and create another pocket dimension or a separate dimension timeline where it's only them.
It was easier for them to keep out all the books and that revealed a lot of info and stick with certain narratives. They wanted the church crowd today dumbed down and stupid about who fallen angels are, so that when they pop back up in the last days and they're already here, nobody recognizes them for what they are. Oh, they're demons. Demons are the spirits of the dead Nephilim. And they were cursed to just roam the earth. That was their curse upon death. Aliens are fifth-dimensional beings, and they're not dead yet. They're live beings. They inhabit space. They inhabit bases and cities under the earth and on planets and star systems around the earth. Fifth-dimensional beings are Satan's minions. They're his offspring. Some of them are creatures that have been brought over from other universes. The Father said nothing new under the sun ever happens, because everything's been done before.